Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do something a little different. I'm going to answer the questions from the Booktuber Newbie tag as a special thank you for getting me up to 200 subscribers. So without further ado, let me say thank you so much to getting us across this milestone. 200 means a lot to me. I didn't think we'd ever actually get this far. I thought, I didn't know anybody would actually pay attention to me talking about books and rambling, because I tend to ramble a lot if you haven't noticed by now. So, first question is, why did you start this channel? So why did I start this channel? I started this channel mostly because I used to be able to talk to people about books that I was reading fairly easily in my daily life. And as my taste changed and as like just the number of books I read and listened to kind of expanded and stuff, I kind of lost people I was able to talk to about it. The genres I was getting more into, especially fantasy, deep, like epic fantasy and sci-fi and stuff like that, other people weren't really into, so I lost people I could talk to. So I kind of just, as you tend to do, more or less retreat to the internet to find like-minded people. After a while of doing that, hanging out in comment sections and Reddit and Discord and all that kind of stuff, ran out of the common stuff, and like there was ideas I wanted to talk about. There, like I had theories and like I want to take discussions in certain directions, and like people, it's kind of hard to do that from a comment section, especially on someone else's channel when they're guiding the conversation. So I was like, well, maybe I need to guide the conversation. So that's kind of where the idea came from, like. Because I started a channel way back when and I didn't really know what I was doing with it. So I was like, well, maybe I should restart it so I can actually like steer the conversation and build a little community where we can actually talk about some of the stuff that's got my brain rambling, and I can include other people's ideas and videos and stuff like that, add your theories and thoughts, and like, have an actual community where we can talk about this stuff and then bring in other stuff that's not just books, and it's like anime and art and all this other kind of stuff, and just basically have fun. See, I ramble. All right, so question number 2. What are some fun, unique things you can bring to YouTube? So for me, in terms of like books and like unique stuff, like you've already probably seen a little bit of it. I've premiered, like shown off my little fan art stuff. Like I got my little Kaladin and puppy fan art. So I'm an artist. I paint a lot. I paint abstract, spacescape, landscape, portraiture, vector, all kinds of stuff. Pretty much anything I can practice and learn how to do, I'll try to do it until I think I'm decent at it. So I like to do like fan art. I haven't done a lot of book-based fan art. I typically do comic book fan art and stuff like that. But I really like the idea, especially Stormlight. Stormlight gets me really into like the art mindset. I don't know if it's Shalon or what, but it really gets me in that mindset. So I really want to like tie my art stuff in with the books that I read. So you'll probably see some time-lapse art videos of fan art stuff like going, probably going up at some point. I don't know. Those videos might be a little tougher to film. Question 3. All right, question 3 says, what are you most excited about for your channel? So, what I'm most excited about for my channel, I think, would have to be the idea of building a community where we can basically ramble together and talk about like stuff and just be completely wrong, but have all the fun in the world talking about it and speculate about stuff that we know is probably entirely wrong. And it'll be fun just to expand these ideas and just kind of, tweak thoughts and stuff, just kind of play with the mind. Like I really like, that's some of my favorite parts about things like movies and like anime and books and things like that. You can speculate on it, you can expand it. I think I go as far as like right up to the door of fan fiction without actually writing any fan fiction. Question 4. All right, question 4 says, why do you love reading? Like, why do I love reading? Probably the same reason pretty much anybody that loves reading loves reading. I love stories. I love the progression of stories. I love being transported to somewhere completely different and alien. That's why I mostly love fantasy and sci-fi books. Like, the more different the place is, the setting and all that stuff, the more I'm going to be captivated by it. The more, like, magical creatures and, like, all that kind of stuff that's just not normal, I'm going to be more captivated by it. That's same reason why I like fantasy shows and comic books and anime and manga and all that kind of stuff, because just something different than your normal everyday. So, question number 5. Question number 5 says, what book series got you into reading? And I feel like it's the same for me as it is for most everyone around my age. I was born in 1990, so I started reading around, like reading on my own and like consistently in about 4th grade or so. And that was around the time Harry Potter came out. And my 4th grade teacher, she would read us all, like the class, she would read us from the Sorcerer's Stone. And like I got so into that story just by her reading it, like I would end up going to the library and like started reading it to the point where by the time I was in the 5th grade, the 4th book came out, and as a gift from my 5th grade teacher, she bought me the 4th book. And it just kind of like that encouragement just kind of kept me going. And like I started with Harry Potter and then pretty much went through most everything in the school library that, you know, was in the YA fiction kind of section and stuff. So it was just pretty much hit the ground running from there. So question 6. Question 6 is, what challenges will be the hardest with Booktube? So I just finished college. I am completely done with my undergrad. I got my 3 undergraduate degrees, and unless somebody pays me, I'm not going to grad school. So I have more free time than I did originally. So the time constraint is less of an issue, but I do still have a regular full-time job. So pretty much my biggest issue is going to just be remaining consistent in filming and writing scripts and stuff. And then apart from that, keeping up the pace. I read ebooks and listen to audiobooks. So theoretically, while reading a book and listening to a book, I should be able to keep up the pace a bit. But we'll see. So far, so good. So far, so good, though. Question number 7. When did you start reading? When did I start reading? I started reading... I don't really remember when I started reading. It had to have been, you know, typical age you start reading. But as my answer to the previous question about the series that got me really into reading, that was when I started reading consistently and like constantly. It was around about 4th to 5th grade. And before that, like I'd learned to read, but I don't think like I had Berenstain Bears or anything like that, like constantly reading those or anything like that. Not that I can remember. Maybe we did. I don't know. So question number 8 says, where do you read? Me, I read ebooks a lot, and I don't know whether it means I need glasses sooner or later or not, but I read at my desktop. I have 3 large monitors, and I use my largest monitor for the book I'm reading, so I can just sit back in my computer chair and just scroll through and just read. And for me, I like ebooks a lot because I used to have the issue when I was younger. I would always get distracted by how much thickness of the book was left. So I'd always kind of just pay too much attention to that and kind of get sucked, like pull myself out of the story I was reading. So it's a lot easier for me to just kind of like blaze through when it's just consistently going. Like I'm just clicking next and next. Like the chapters will pop up, but it's, you know, you don't feel the book getting smaller. So it's not that noticeable, at least for me. And question number 9, what kind of books do you like to read? I've already mentioned it, but my favorite genre is fantasy. Second is sci-fi. Second is sci-fi. And I think it's definitely a sub-genre of fantasy, but I really like superhero stuff too. Stuff like the Reckoners and Superpowers and the Villain's Code and the D-list supervillain and like stuff like that. There's a lot of, it's mostly since the MCU started and stuff like that, there's a lot of really good fantasy, super powered based fiction out there. And I really like that stuff a lot. And question number 10. What would I ask some of my favorite booktubers? I have quite a few favorite booktubers. I really like to watch Mike Reeves and Daniel Greene and Merphy Napier and Elliot Brooks and like a bunch of other people. But the main thing I would definitely ask them, especially the ones that post stuff consistently and constantly, like, you know, almost daily, like how do you do it? Like, how do you like bulk film? Do you what do you do? Like, how are you reading at the same time as like writing a review for something else? Like, it's just like the time management. I'm like, it's almost mythical because I edit my own stuff too. So like reading books and reading ebooks and listening to books and then writing scripts and filming and then editing it and then multiple videos a week. I'm like, whew, this is like already a second job. So that would be basically my biggest question. Like, how do you do time management? Like, what are your biggest strategies for time management? All right, that was 10 questions from the Booktuber Newbie tag. And I want to say once again, thank you so much for getting me to 200. It's such a great milestone. And we'll do something special again when we hit 500. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys have any ideas. What would you like to see? Like a live painting session or something like that? Live stream, a Q&A, or just like a time-lapse video with like answering questions, something like that. Anything like that. Just, toss out some ideas and we'll workshop. Maybe we get around, get closer to that number. So once again, thank you so much for getting us to 200. That's a great milestone and I appreciate it so much. So thanks again, and like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and I will talk to you guys next time. Peace.